Hey y'all, it's Steve, Hobo with Wood. In this video, I'm going to address a few common problems with files that you buy online that didn't come from hobowithwood.com. These are very common problems and actually kind of easy to fix if you know how and where to look. So stay tuned. Okay, so this week I was really kind of struggling for what am I going to do for a video content. What can I do? What can I do? Well, while I was working on projects for the upcoming live stream on Laser Maker's Realm, I was contacted by one of my viewers on Hobo with Wood and Laser Maker's Realm about a problem they were having with a file that they had purchased elsewhere, and they were trying to do some things with the design and they were having problems and wanted to know if I could help them with a very specific problem. I fixed that, showed them how to do it, but then I've started looking at the file and there are a lot of issues with this file when it comes to working with it in Lightburn. The file itself is really nice. It's a very nice design. It's a very elaborate design. So kudos to whoever designed it. And if you're not working in Lightburn, it probably would never be an issue. But Lightburn has a lot of abilities that maybe other softwares don't have. And there are requirements that that file must have in order to be able to use those abilities, such as this was billed and marketed as a 3mm Christmas lantern. Well, I don't have any 3mm wood. All of my 3mm wood is 2.7 or 2.75 millimeters. It's never quite 3mm. That's close. And it'd go together, but it's not going to fit very tight. It's not going to look very good. From 10 feet away, it'd look fine. I don't like the 10-foot rule when I'm creating something. But there were issues with the design that prevented me from being able to resize the slots and tabs because of all the problems. Like I said, in any other software, it may not be an issue at all. But let's take a look at this design and the problem that he was encountering. And what I did is I didn't just fix it and send it to him. I stopped what I was doing, made a quick video showing how to fix the problem, the solution to his question, and then also offered him an alternative and sent him both options in file Lightburn formats along with the video showing how it was done. So I didn't just address his concern, but I also showed him how to fix it for future events when he's wanting to do the same thing. Now he knows how to do it. I did all that and didn't even ask him for a penny. He's not a patron. He's just a regular contributor and seems to be a really nice guy. And I know he is because I didn't ask him for a penny, but yeah, he turned around and he did tip me quite well. And it was greatly appreciated because this is what I'm doing to earn my income. This is how I'm earning a living. So I didn't ask for money. Showed him how to do it, and he took care of me very well. And if you have an issue and you would like some help from me, send me a request at hobowithwood@gmail.com. Depending on where you're at, I may get back to you pretty quick, or it might be the next day if you're halfway around the world, but I will get back to you. But let's take a look at what he was doing, what he wanted to do, and then the issues with this file, and how you can identify these problems on files that you buy from other places other than hobowithwood.com, because hobowithwood.com ain't going to have these issues. But let's take a look at this file. Let's import it just as he sent it to me. import 3mm Christmas lantern. Open. Alright, so this is what he sent me. First thing is there's an oddball toolpath right there that I'm going to get rid of. And what he was trying to do was he wanted to engrave this "To Mummy and Daddy, Love Harriet" on the door of the lantern instead of this. He was going to substitute this for this. And the problem he was having was he was cutting out the entire letters. All of the D's were falling away, the A's. In fact, let's just show you an image here. See, desktop, customer, or viewer made. All right. So here's the image he sent me. So there was the problem he's having. The O's are falling out. All of the ampersand, all of Daddy's gone. He's like, how do I fix this? Now, I struggled with this for weeks when I was first starting out until I figured it out. And I made constant goofs where I would forget about it, go to cut the project out, and then get it off my laser and go, ah! But let's take a look at what I suggested that he do if he wanted to actually put this on here instead of that engraved image or that cutout image. All right. So when you cut out that letter D, if you have your priorities set correctly, or the way I would think they should be done, you should cut your inner shapes first. So it would cut out this inner part of the D. It's going to cut that out, and that's going to fall away. Then it's going to come over here and cut out the outer part of the D, and that's going to fall away. Well, the problem with that is that's falling away. Now you cut this, and that's falling away. Now you just got a big old hole right there. Because that's gone. There's no definition to the D. So same thing here with the A, and this D and the other D. So what you have to do when you have internal pieces like the ampersand and the O, you have to attach those inner pieces. They can't fall away completely. So you have to turn those into a stencil-like font. And you can do that by simply putting a little rectangle in these letters. Now, I'm not going to do every one of them here for you. I did it for him and sent him the updated file. But all you have to do is come over here to your rectangle tool, draw your rectangle. It needs to extend beyond the top and the bottom of the outermost perimeter. Select your outermost perimeter, center it horizontally in there. It doesn't need to be centered in the letter, because if you center that up, well, in this case, that worked pretty good. But in some cases, like this A, it would put it way over here and it wouldn't look as good. But that worked just by centering it up. Now, what I don't like is I don't like having those two 90-degree angles on either end of that. So these have a point on them. So you could do this. You could go convert this to a path. Let's see, select just that rectangle, convert it to a path, go into node editing, and now we're going to put a node in the middle right here by hitting the letter M and hitting the letter M down here. Now what happens if we delete this one, hit the letter, select it, hit the letter D, select that one, hit the letter D. I think it gets a little too narrow. Yeah, that's not going to work. All right, so we're going to undo that. But now what we'll do is, say, come right here where they intersect. And just insert, hitting the letter I, and now I can delete that by hitting the letter D, hitting the letter D. Same thing, come to the intersection, hit the letter I for insert. Same thing over here, I for insert. Down here, letter D for delete. And right here, D for delete. And now that's got a point on it, like those points. Now take and select both parts of the D, group it together, Now that's grouped together. You're going to use your Boolean subtract tools by saying select the piece you want to keep, A, which is this letter D, will be A. Hold your shift key and select that toolpath. That's going to be B. We didn't select it. There we go. Now use your Boolean tools right here. And actually we didn't need that because we didn't marry those, we subtracted them. That's irrelevant. Oh, the points on there. See, what I was thinking too far ahead. If I would have done undo, we would have done a union like that, then that would give you the points. That D is going to, but the problem there is it's going to be the same thing. See, these two pieces, these inner pieces are separate pieces and not connected to the outer perimeter. They would fall away and wouldn't work. So you undo, and you use the subtract tool, and now that's going to cut out as one piece. This is going to cut out as one piece. You still have the semblance of the letter D, and it's intact. You do the same thing all the way across on all the A's, the O's, anything that has an internal piece, and you want to do something that's going to look good. So about a 0.5 millimeter in width. Center it up, and let's see what that looks like. Not that way, stupid. Center, where's... So, oh, because none of that's grouped. Group all the ampersand. Now you can select that, and now center it. There we go. Now there's where I saw it. There, it's going to be okay in the bottom, but it's going to look like crap up here and not work, actually. So what I would do is I would cheat it. Not that far. Probably about like that. It doesn't need to be that tall, so I can shorten her down. We don't need to worry about the points because we're actually just subtracting. So we'll select A, subtract B, and now that would cut out and look good. All right, so that's how you fix your font issues. And I did that for him on all of those letters and sent that to him as a possibility since that's what his original idea was. But my suggestion to him was, in fact, let's just get rid of all that. Bring it back in. Open. Let's get rid of the toolpath. My suggestion was, this is all really fancy and looks really great, so you should keep that because that is going to be kind of a blank door with all that just cut in it and no designs. So I'm going to say Control D, I'm going to duplicate that. We're going to bring this over here. In fact, actually, let's check this. Is this all grouped together? Yep, that's all grouped together. So let's ungroup all that. Now that everything's ungrouped, let's grab just that, group it together. Make sure all the text is grouped together. Select that and tell it to go to center. Now select just the font. And what I'm looking for is to get the font inside of the design, the artwork. See how the H is over the boundary there? So I'm going to hold my control button and I'm going to shrink that down until I get at least 1.5 times the width of these pieces here. And those are, and if you, right now I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to say about like that. And you'll see why I needed it to be that far in just a second. So you can take your rule right here and measure that segment of that snowflake and see that it's 1.86, right at 2 millimeters thick on these designs. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the text again. I'm going to duplicate it one more time since I've shrunk it down. Duplicate it, move that duplication over here out of the way. And now I'm going to select this, hold my shift button and select the artwork. No. First, I'm going to select the font only and do an offset of the font. And I'm going to do it 2 millimeters because that was the approximate width of those designs. Are we in? Yeah, 2 millimeters outward. I want to do, I don't want to do round or angles. Let's do round. And I don't want to do 2 millimeters. 2 millimeters because we're going outward in both directions. Let's do that. Let's do the 1.5, 1.5. That looks better. All right. I'm going to delete the original objects. Say OK. Now, with that selected, hold my shift key and select the artwork and now weld that together like that. Now what I'm going to do is we created a lot of little anomalies with these little bitty pieces, and I don't need those. You won't see them. It actually create little burn marks. It won't be as nearly as attractive as just getting rid of them. So what I need to do now is select that artwork, ungroup it, and I want to find the largest small piece that I want to keep. So the largest small piece that I want to keep, we'll say, is this piece right here. Now I'm going to say edit, no, tools, select shapes smaller than selected. Now it's going to select anything that's smaller than that, and I'm going to hit the letter D. And actually, it took that one out too, but that's fine. But all those little bitty pieces and all those little bitty small anomalies, they're all gone. Everything's cleaned up. That looks good. Now, I'm going to select that whole thing again. And since this actually would be on a cut path, I'm going to group it. In my cut paths, I use red. And this, I'm not going to cut out. I'm actually going to engrave it. So I'm going to put that on the black layer. Select the artwork and tell it to go to center. Now, that is ready to engrave. And it's going to look, in my opinion, much better than just engraving it on the blank door. And he must have thought so too, because that's the way he ended up going. Let's take a look at that final. Now this, he sent me a picture of his final piece, and it turned out really nice. It's a nice project. His laser did a really good job. And you can see up here, it's Nick B. We're not going to use his full name. Don't know how he feels about it, but this is Nick's project. And here's where he engraved that instead of cutting it. He also used a technique where I do a crosshatch, line after fill, and about a 22-degree scan angle with increased lines per inch, and it creates that checkerboard pattern instead of solid black engraving. And that was all his idea. He'd seen the video where I talked about it and demonstrated it, and I'll link that at the end of this video if you haven't seen it. But that gave it a really nice touch instead of just a deep dark black engraving. Man, that turned out nice. That is a nice project. Okay, so this video is turning in to be a lot more elaborate than I had initially thought about it, and it's going to be a lengthy video, so I'm going to break it up into segments. So we're going to end this one here. It's a good place to stop, but I'm going to follow this up with a video showing the actual problems with this file, with the issues with trying to use the resizing slots and tabs, and how you can fix those problems simply and quickly with a couple of tricks in Lightburn. So be sure you're subscribed. If you enjoy this, if you're taking something from this channel, you're taking something from these videos, I ask that you give a little something back. Consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/hobowithwood. Use the super thanks down below if you don't want to be a monthly supporter. If you found this just to be extremely helpful and informative, say, hey man, here's $5. Go get you 2 sausage and egg biscuits at Bojangles, 2 for $5. Anything is appreciated. Hobowithwood.com. You can check out all my files. There's some free files on there, and there's some really neat designs on there. I mentioned the website, hobowithwood.com. Patreon, patreon.com/hobowithwood. Don't forget to check out Laser Maker's Realm. Every other Saturday, we're doing live streams with free files. This next episode, we're going to be doing some free files with a couple of different sign designs. So you're going to want to be sure you're tuned in for that, because the files are free during the live stream. After the live stream, I've got them on hobowithwood.com for sale. So tune in for the live streams for the free files. Consider supporting me in some shape, fashion, or form. I greatly appreciate those that do. Be sure you're subscribed. This next video is going to go in depth on what's wrong with this file. It is a great file, but there are problems with it when it comes to using it in Lightburn, and we're going to fix them all. And once you see how to do this, there are going to be a lot of files that you already have that you're going to go, oh wow, that's probably going to fix it. Yes, it will. It's going to fix all kind of problems you've got, and you'll know how to do it on future files you buy when you don't buy them from hobowithwood.com. So until that next video, have fun this weekend. It's Friday night. I'm wrapping this up. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you in the next video.